Our next guest has spent his life developing his psychic abilities.
In his book, Living in Two Worlds, he talks about his life as a clairvoyant and the spiritual life that he says surrounds all of us.
Jeff McBride has used his special abilities all throughout his career as a police officer, bodybuilder, successful business owner, and actor. A little bit of everything, Jeff, huh?
Yeah, try to keep myself busy and let that energy disperse where it needs to be.
Sure. Well, welcome to the show. It's nice to have you here. Let's talk about some of your abilities.
Okay, let's see. To call it abilities, I'll just say, break it down to, like, I'm able to hear things, I'm able to see things, I'm able to feel things. It's pretty much all the senses.
Do you look at it as a special gift?
A lot of people like to say it's a gift. For me, it's like, being right-handed. It's all I've known. And
you discovered this when you were a very young age?
Very young, yeah, really young.
How old?
I think, to be honest, as soon as I was able to understand the actual event itself, was probably like 4 or 5 years old.
Is that a little Jeff we're looking at on our screen?
Yeah, it is. That was like, let's see, 2 years ago, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
So it must have been kind of different growing up as a child with this skill that nobody else had.
Well, what's interesting, if you want to say, they assumed I was hyperactive and tried to
medicate you, maybe?
They went with the whole Ritalin route, and it didn't stop it. But yeah, it was always.
What did you start seeing first?
I started seeing people around me in my home, the home I grew up in, which is actually the home is the cover on the book. I could see, if you want to say, spirits or people then, at a very young age, very, very young.
Does that happen in your everyday life? I mean, are you seeing that right now? Are you just seeing Jocelyn? Just asking Jeff.
Oh, you mean she's actually here?
I'm here.
Oh, I thought you were with her. No.
Well, maybe I should ask you, are you able to turn these on and off, like when you want to concentrate on it?
Yes and no. It's always there, but I think if I decide to kind of allow myself to stay in that space, it makes it a little more accurate, a little clearer. But it definitely doesn't leave me, no.
Also, can you see the future? Can you
really?
Can you give us an example of that in your book? What did you write about?
Quite a number of things. One of the more timely or prevalent things that I write about is the September 11th. I was in New York on the 10th doing a photo shoot for what used to be Talk magazine, and long story short, I could see I was on the West Side Highway on the studio. And when we would break, I could see the trade centers, and I was standing there getting this like intense feeling of sadness. And I brought a guy home that night, and we were talking about how difficult it would be, or how unbelievable it would be if you ever had to evacuate the city, because it was raining really hard, and it took me like a half an hour to go to 3 blocks, and so on. Anyway, so as I'm driving home, I remember having this intense feeling to get out, and just kept getting flashes of what was actually happening was the traffic, but it seemed so much more intense. 14 hours later, we all know what happened, and things like that, things like that.
Were you able to use this and kind of excel at your different careers?
Honestly, yes. I mean,
as a police officer, I would assume it would be, a very useful tool.
It's actually been advantageous throughout, and it's also been, a thing maybe that maybe has curtailed some other decisions I've made. But yeah, I mean, I've been able to say, before starting my shift, maybe I have a dream of what's going to happen the night before, and honest to God, it just wake up and it's like playing out.
We should also tell everybody you're also an actor and also a former bodybuilder. Is that right?
Yeah, I started bodybuilding young, primarily. Now that I look back on it, it started just to get rid of some of this physical energy, I suspect, and everything else just kind of came to me. And that's when you say, do you use it in acting? I never really had any training. I just
What are we looking at here?
That's a picture of Ricardo Montalban and I from Star Trek II. I shot that in 1982. So yeah, again, I was in the right place at the right time, got a tap on the shoulder, and that's how it goes. And the best way I could say it is that we all have the ability to feel and see things. We've all thought, hey, I haven't seen Bill Smith in 20 years. Then you go to CVS, and there he is.
You kind of get those gut feelings too, but it seems like this is more intense, would you say?
Oh, yeah. And I think, we all have those gut feelings, but we all let them go.
Right.
And for me, I was intrigued because of the collective effect of being a kid and seeing all this stuff and the house I grew up in and my lineage and what have you. My interest was, how can I expand that to better understand, how did I know that was going to happen,
Well,
so that's what intrigued me.
In the book, you said the more at peace you become, the more information you receive. So
Yeah.
how do you use that ability to help others?
If I just stop, that gives me the space to hear. And so if someone says to me, well, can you tell me where, can you tell me where I put my keys, for example? So oftentimes I can just stop and I'll see it. I realize that's kind of a minor example, but yeah, it's.
Well, I can't do that.
No, it's true. Well, you have your keys anyway. So
I got the keys.
What's the message in Living in Two Worlds to everybody who wants to read this book?
I think, first of all, you know what? It's there for everybody. Every one of us, I believe, has some degree of connectivity to the other side, and more often than not, people dismiss it and they don't believe in it. But if you give it a chance, it's there to help. I really think that's more of it than anything.
And you've helped a lot of people through the years.
I have. I hope.
And you continue to do so.
All right, Jeff, we're out of time. Thank you so much for being here. The name of the book, again, is Living in Two Worlds. Coming up next, we're in the kitchen with Neil Fuentes. He's going to show us how to make 3 dishes with leeks. Stay with us. We'll be right back.